Hello followers, my name is MrMFretwell and welcome to episode 38 of my Minecraft tutorial series, and in today's episode we're going to craft some golden apples. And this is kind of like a prequel, I guess, to the next episode, which is where we're going to actually use the golden apple with the potions that we brewed last time, the potions of weakness, in this sort of mini project to get ourselves a butler, which is going to be a lot of fun, I can assure you. But I want to show you the golden apples, and in Minecraft now there are two different varieties of golden apple. There is one crafted, which is a normal one, just called a golden apple, and there's another variety called the enchanted golden apple. And I will explain why they are called that momentarily, but the first thing you're going to need is an apple, or two in this case, and you're going to need gold, obviously, to make golden apples. Now, to craft the two different varieties, the two different materials are going to be needed. To craft the regular golden apple, you need to put an iron ingot, or sorry, a gold ingot in your crafting bench, and you get 9 gold nuggets, just like we learnt in the last episode. And then you need to surround an apple with those gold nuggets, and you get this golden apple, and it has a blue tooltip. Take notice of that. So what this golden apple will do is it will restore 2 meat pops on the hunger bar there, and it also maxes out the saturation level to a really high value. Now, there is an invincible bar, basically. This is the easiest way to explain it, above your hunger bar, and that is the saturation bar. And the saturation bar is basically the period of time from when you eat to when you next become hungry. So steak has a really high saturation value. Cookies have a really low saturation value. Zombie flesh actually causes the saturation value to decrease quicker than it normally would, and that's the hunger effect. So it kind of almost has a negative saturation value, I guess. So different foods have different saturation values. Now the golden apple goes above and beyond that and actually basically maxes out your saturation to a maximum of 20, just like the meat pops. They display half empty, then one gone, and it's basically another food bar, which is the saturation bar. So to eat, when eating one of these, you also get a nice effect of 4 seconds of regeneration, and this will heal 2 hearts if you have taken any damage, as well as obviously max out the saturation, so you can go in and do fighting and whatnot. And I recommend taking one of these before a big fight so that you don't have to eat too often, or if you're going to be in close quarters where you're not exactly going to have time to eat. These are particularly useful in stuff like custom maps, and they're not too bad to craft. So I would highly recommend getting 1 or 2 for every now and then, particularly before boss fights with the Ender Dragon and the Wither, which we will look into in future episodes. So that's the normal golden apple in a nutshell. That's basically what it does, the saturation value it provides, the effect that it has, and also it has the unique property which food doesn't have, well, other food, in the fact that you can actually eat it when your food bar is full. So even if you've healed up completely with steak, then you can give that little boost to regen some health and also max out your saturation bar that way as well. So that's actually quite a useful thing with this stuff. So that's the first type. The second type of golden apple actually is surrounded, instead of gold nuggets, with gold blocks. So this is a lot more expensive than the other one we just crafted. So you're actually going to need 8 golden blocks, and you craft that by putting 1 ingot in each slot in the crafting grid, and you get a block of gold, or as they call it, block of gold. And this is going to give us 7. We actually need 8, like so. We need another one, make 8. Then we can put the apple in the crafting grid and surround it with gold blocks. Then you get this purple tool-tipped golden apple, and this is called the enchanted golden apple. It also has the name the Notches apple and the God apple in multiplayer. So this one goes above and beyond what the other golden apple does. So this is something to consider. This is one of the most expensive items in the game to craft because gold is not that common. I'm basically now almost out entirely of gold, so I can only make 1 of these, and this one, it does share similar capabilities in the fact that you can eat it when your food bar is full. It maxes out your saturation like the other golden apple does, but it has some extra effects which kind of balance it out a little. So instead of just getting 4 seconds of regeneration 1, you actually get 30 seconds of regeneration 4. So that means you can pretty much survive any sort of attack apart from explosion damage, which can deal lots of hearts. So you can't just jump into a pile of TNT, eat one of these and be okay. You will get killed from that. But any monsters, you will be fine that way. And I'm actually not going to eat this right now because I want to save it for an upcoming boss fight, which we will do in maybe 10-15 episodes time, maybe sooner, I'm not entirely sure. So this one, it also gives you fire resistance, which we actually brewed in the prior episode. I have some left in here, I think. Yeah, right here. Potion of fire resistance. It gives you the same fire resistance that you can brew with a potion, so it's kind of not as worthwhile making one of these for that, because this is longer. And it also gives you what's called general resistance for 5 minutes. And general resistance is, it basically nerfs attack damage from all sources. So any type of monster, explosions, basically any form of damage in the game that you can get, resistance will nerf, which is kind of handy. You can't obtain resistance any other way, in survival anyway, without this golden apple. So it's a really expensive item to craft, but I think it's effectively balanced. So you can go and fight a big boss, have one of these, along with all your different potions, and it kind of makes it certainly a lot more easier than what people would expect it to be. So I'm going to put this enchanted golden apple, the one with the purple tooltip, in my chest, and the blue tool-tipped apple, remember, is the one with the gold nuggets. If you want to know more about what these actually do, you can check the Minecraft wiki. I'm just giving you a basic overview to what these actually do. If you're, as I say, if you're going into a large combat area or you're exploring some sort of naturally gen structure, I would probably take one of the gold nugget ones. If you're going to have a boss fight with one of the bosses in the game, I would probably recommend taking one of these at some point. More so for the Wither than the Ender Dragon. I think you'd be okay with just the nugget ones for the Ender Dragon, as that boss fight is not as tough. It's certainly tougher now than what it was, but it's still not that tough, but that might change over the course of the game's development. So that is basically golden apples. Now what we're actually going to do is we're going to craft up another golden apple using the nuggets that we have. We're just going to make one of the nugget ones, and in the next episode we are actually going to use this on a zombie villager. I killed one, I think I killed a couple in the last episode when we played around with potions. And we also need a weakness potion, which we're going to turn into splash potions of weakness with gunpowder. And then we are actually going to go and hunt ourselves down a zombie villager. We're going to lure him into the cottage over there, and then at that point we're going to do a process of conversion and actually convert the zombie villager back into a villager, so we can finally have a friend to play with, instead of just some lonely, being lonely in this world. Now I'm not sure if there was a bug in the game that makes these despawn. I know it was fixed in a snapshot. I hope it's fixed in 1.5.2 so that we don't end up making one and it actually despawns. So yeah, we'll look at that next time. I wanted to give you this overview to golden apples though, before we actually get into that, and explain what they actually do. I will probably take the enchanted golden apple, and you'll be able to see its effects when we actually fight a boss. I don't want to waste all of that right now when I'm actually not doing anything. So I don't mind wasting a few nuggets on showing you what it actually does, but I don't really want to waste all of that gold showing you exactly what it does. I think there are some videos of it on the Minecraft wiki, which you can actually see the effects in action. But as I say, it gives you resistance for 5 minutes, fire resistance for 5 minutes, and maxes out your food bar and gives you a high saturation value. Well, actually on the food bar it fills 2 meat pops and maxes out your saturation. That's technically what it does. So I would always recommend filling up your food bar as much as possible with any type of food before taking a golden apple, preferably not zombie flesh because you're going to get the hunger effect, and then actually take the golden apple. And then you will, either one, then you will have an extended period of time before you have to eat again, which means that you can actually get into real real tight situations in terms of combat, and you don't have to worry about your automatic healing disappearing. So that's always something to consider. Of course, you could always use regen potions, which are better for long-term regeneration. To be honest, 4 seconds of regeneration is 2 hearts. It's not really worth it. But what is worth it is brewing up a regeneration potion, one of these guys, for 2 minutes, and then you're going to have a much more extended regen. But I consider these nugget golden apples more for maxing out your food bar than actually the effect it provides. It's just a kind of a neat little boost that you get that effect. So yeah, that pretty much covers everything that we're going to do in this episode, guys. I hope that you found it useful. A bit shorter than normal, certainly compared to the last episode, where I was actually at it for a while, but it's only a small topic, but I feel that it deserves its own episode. I like to try and do each tutorial on its own if possible, and we've done that. So I want to show you, I did enchant some gear off camera between this and the last episode, ready for the next one. So of course the world download will be in the description, so you can play around with that golden apple if you so desire. You can see the effects yourself and then maybe reload the word file if you actually want to save it. So there's always that option too. So yeah, until next time, guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching. See you later and have a good day.